The panel certainly highlighted how bad a year this has been for reproductive rights. The battle's been in the states for many, many years, and this year has been a particularly venal year, really, in terms of the bills introduced and the bills that have been passed. So I would say, a contest as to which is the worst. I think I would give the honors primarily to South Dakota, which passed a measure which said that a woman has to wait 72 hours from a time of counseling before she can have an abortion. She has to have the counseling and the abortion performed by the same doctor. She has to go, before she can have the abortion, to a crisis pregnancy center for counseling, which of course will be counseling against an abortion. So it is a way of tremendously burdening women who are in a large rural state, who have to drive great distances. So that's a practical effect, but it's also a way of stigmatizing, to say women can't make these decisions. We're not sort of trusted decision makers, and we need assistance as we make this decision. But that's just one example. There's a whole rash, and if you look at charts, we've had far more laws passed this year that restrict abortion. I think that's insurance bans, bans on procedures, bans on any dollars going to Planned Parenthood, all real. What's particularly scary to me is no politician is paying a price for this. Nobody's really standing up to say this isn't okay. These laws are just rolling right through.
Can you address this, the stigma that does seem to be worsening?
I've been doing this work for 20 years. I think the stigma is dramatically different now, and as Pam Carlin, who's a speaker on many panels here today, has said, LGBT folks have come out of the closet and abortion has gone into the closet. And 1 in 3 women in America has an abortion in her lifetime, but there's nobody talking about, to close friends, about abortion. There's no conversation in the legislatures that would make you think that anybody had actually had an abortion. It just permits all sorts of opportunities to demonize people because you sort of don't know them. But it also is part of what makes it so much harder to stand up. And there's real reasons why people feel stigmatized. People feel stigmatized because the public discourse is about women being irresponsible who have abortions, about women being selfish who have abortions. And there's no normalization as a matter of politics, medicine, or just entertainment, public chatter, nothing.
Okay. Even before these slew of laws, in many states throughout this country, it's incredibly difficult for women to get this medical procedure, to get an abortion. Is this a fairly disheartening and incredibly serious setback? We've been living for a long time with a legal standard that makes it much easier to impose all sorts of restrictions on access to abortion. And then we've lived in a climate that's quite violent, which has also deterred many doctors from becoming abortion providers. But again, I think this just goes to abortion it's on the outside. It's on the outside of discourse. People don't see abortion as part of what it is, which is could be one moment in a woman's reproductive life history. It can be it is a moment of a piece of the real decision about whether to have a family and how to have a family that people make in the course of their lifetimes. And in medicine, it is one of, if not, Linda said today, I think, the most common medical procedure performed, yet it is isolated, it is seen as separate and other even within the medical profession. So those are all reasons that contribute to the barriers. The one thing I'll say is people on the ground do everything they can to still make it possible for women to access the service, and as Helene Krasnoff said from Planned Parenthood, women in South Dakota will drive 700 miles to get an abortion, because if you feel you're not ready to have a child, you need to get there, and you'll just do everything you can to get there. But we shouldn't be imposing that on people. We should be able to access this like other procedures, and we should recognize its value to our lives, to our families, and to women's rights.